SB's Academy. We have come up with yet another episode as promised the last week regarding the communicative usage of modal verbs. And this week we are going to learn about the degree of formality and possibility as used in modal verbs. Now again I would request you to take a look at the full screen where you will see certain sentences. Take a look at the sentences while I'll be telling you, analyzing and telling you that what is the degree of formality involved and how will you determine whether a particular modal verb has a very polite intent in its tone, or it has a moderately polite tone. So we are going to learn that. So first the sentence, take a look at the sentence that comes on the screen. Can I have a cup of tea? Whenever we are using can is usually used when you are talking to someone whom you already know very well. That may be your friend, that may be your parent, that may be a family member, that person may be a family member with whom you do not share too much of formality, and there is no need of being excessively polite. Like when we are talking with our friends, do we maintain an excessive mode of politeness, or are we very formal? We are not, right? So similarly, always please note this, that whenever we are using can, it denotes a casual request, a casual request. By contrast, look at the next sentence. Could I have a cup of tea, please? This is a very formal request, right? It again depends to whom you are talking. What is the social position of that person, right? Is that person a VIP, or how well you know that person? Maybe you don't know that person well at all, and that person is a very senior person, or you know that person has a very powerful social standing, or you know you have to be very respectful towards that person, right? So could I have a cup of tea, please? So when you are requesting that person, that has to be very formal. Next is a formal request. Look up the next sentence. May I have a cup of tea? May I have a cup of tea? This is a formal request. I mean, you know the person, maybe suppose you have gone to a bank to do some work, right, and you are not carrying a pen, while there is another person who's there at the bank, a stranger whom you don't know, and you are borrowing a pen from him, right? May I have your pen for a moment? So you know that person is not a VIP, the person is not a very powerful person. You have to maintain a certain degree of politeness, right? Like you do with people whenever you are moving in public places or you're occupying public transport. That basic, you know, a formal request, right? Again, I'm going to, again another version of a formal request is, would you mind getting me a cup of tea? This is again a formal request, not a very formal request. Will you get me a cup of tea? Very casual request. Will you get me a cup of tea? Like suppose you come back home after a day's work and you ask your mother, will you get me a cup of tea? You know that you can be friendly with your mother, so you can make a very casual request to her, right? So that kind of a thing. So you need to understand to whom you are talking. What is the social standing of the person? Where is the conversation taking place? If it is taking place within the four walls of the house, you can have a comparatively relaxed attitude. You know that you can be a bit casual when you are requesting somebody. But this kind of a tone or this language should change when you are occupying a public place. It's going to change again when you're occupying your office space and you're requesting somebody. So these are the things you need to keep in mind and decide on the degrees of politeness and formality. It doesn't really come like that. You have to understand a lot of things, right? Okay. There is one question that as a teacher I have often faced from my students, that is, ma'am, while we are making a request, where should this word please be placed? Where should this word pleased be placed? Right? Should it be at the beginning? Should it be at the middle? Or should it be at the end? Remember this. When you are making a request for your own benefit, please should be at the end of the sentence. Right? When you are making a request for the other person's benefit, please should be at the beginning of a sentence. But please can never be at the middle of a sentence under any context. Right? So please keep this in mind. I'm going to show you a couple of examples over here how actually you can use this, right? Okay. Take a look at this particular sentence. Will you photocopy these letters for me? Could you possibly photocopy these letters? Would you mind photocopying these letters? Would you be so kind as to photocopy these letters? So see how you can use one particular sentence in so many ways. In so many ways. How can you use a particular sentence in so many ways, keeping the meaning same? The basic meaning is kept same, only there is a change of tone depending on the context to whom you are speaking. Right? So this is something you must keep in mind. Right? Okay. What are the possible positive answers to the questions that are given above? Yes, yes, certainly, certainly. Yes, of course, I'd be happy to. I'll be glad to. My pleasure. How do you respond to these informally when you're giving positive answers? You can say, sure, okay, oh, yes. So these are informal ways how you can answer to the requests in a positive manner. Suppose you have to answer in a negative manner, that is when you cannot really comply. What are the things that we say? No, sorry. No, I'm sorry. I can't. Sorry, I can't. I'm busy right now. I'd like to, but I can't. I'd love to, but I'm busy right now. So these are some of the examples that you can keep ready with you in case you are initiating any kind of conversation. Go through the sentences, go through the possible answers and try to practice these with your friends. The more you practice these with your friends, you know, you can be better at making conversations, better at making polite conversations, better at making formal conversations.
Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe to SB's Academy channel on YouTube for more such content. Follow SB's Academy's page on Facebook for SB's tips on grammar, vocabulary and communication skills in English. Don't forget to like and share the content. Leave your views in the comments and let us know what else would you like us to cover here. Happy learning.